we met each other 8 years at a bar. And it was kind of an awkward situation. Damon talked to me first. It was my 28th birthday.
Right.
And he came up and talked to me, and I was like, wow, this guy's really interesting. But I had had a lot to drink that night.
Right.
I was like, oh, his friend looks cute too. So maybe I'll make out with his friend.
Right.
But then the next day, me and my other friend met up with him because we were like, she was helping me out.
Right.
So the next day she was saying she had gotten Damon's number, and she was saying that he's a bit too old for her because she was a lot younger than I was.
Right.
So, but I was like, wow, he was a really nice guy though. I remember what he was saying to me, and maybe we should hook him up with my sister because they lived right down the road from one another. So
as you do.
I texted Damon, and he thought I was texting the friend I made out with.
Right.
But I wasn't. I wanted to find out what he was doing for my sister. And I said, maybe we can meet up the next couple days. And he said, yeah, that would be great. So we went and met up, but my sister was too tired to meet up right away. So she was like, I'll come meet up with him later on. You go meet with him and his friends.
Right.
But he was just by himself at first, and we walked for a while and talked, and
we had a connection, I think, the first night when we met.
Right.
We had a
Even though she...
Yeah, with enough alcohol involved and a dance floor. And
so, are you still friends with that guy?
I am, yeah. I haven't seen him in quite a long time. But we are friends, and he's one of my oldest friends, actually.
Right, okay, there you go.
He is invited to our wedding.
I was going to ask that. There's a speech.
Yeah, I think we had a connection first off.
Right, but you did have
we had two groups of friends there that got together, and then with enough drinking and having fun, the night just went in different directions.
Right.
But then
and then I was living here on the island.
Oh, okay.
And he was living in Vancouver, but he lived just down the road from my sister. So I played it all cool, like, I'm just going to see my sister. Do you want to meet up?
literally 2 blocks away. So it was definitely a convenience there.
Yeah.
And that's probably why she thought of her sister, was because I lived just down the road. But then we started having some dates on weekends and things like that.
Because you were still in Vancouver.
Yeah, and Nadia would make excuses to come over and visit her sister.
Right.
And then she would give me a call, and we'd go out for dinner or something and catch up. And, that went on for about a year or so.
Yeah. We went
and
on.
Then we got a little bit more serious.
Right.
The every other weekend turned into, well, I'll see you next weekend. And our relationship kind of blossomed from there.
I made the move.
Oh, so you moved to Vancouver?
I moved to Vancouver.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just started a job. I finished.
I got a job at UBC there.
Okay.
Yeah, and I had just finished up as a student at UBC and was starting my engineering career. So I kind of locked into a job right out of school. So it was a little bit easier for Nadia to come over to the big city and try something different, because she had never lived there, and be closer to her sister too, which kind of was nice.
Yeah, so I first had to get a job. So I applied for all these city jobs, and nothing was working. I had some interviews, and then UBC hired me on their gardening department.
Okay.
That was awesome. Yeah, and then we moved, and then he ruptured his Achilles.
Well, yeah, so
right when I moved over.
I lived in a junior 1-bedroom apartment in a 6-story 1912 old character building. It actually used to be right near Stanley Park. It's called Stanley Park Manor. So very, very small accommodation, but it was really tough to find, and expensive in that part of the city. So we decided we'd try it out and see if we could both live in this 500 square foot apartment. And then within, I think, a month of you moving in,
I think
maybe, I was playing a lot of beach volleyball with friends and everything, and was in a league, and then one evening had a pretty catastrophic Achilles injury while I was playing. So ended up at UBC Hospital and called Nadia and said, hey, I got bad news. I'm literally, I can't walk. I'm in a wheelchair basically for a while. So that led to me taking about 2.5 months off work and
Right.
be on crutches and wheelchair. And Nadia was basically my nurse for.
And well, how did you get up the 6-story?
Yeah, well, there was an elevator,
Oh,
luckily.
there was, okay.
Yeah, but it was still, it was being such an old building, it was
Yeah.
not set up for
Wheelchair.
for mobility problems. So it was probably the most challenging couple months I've ever
Right.
had, just kind of getting over that. Being a 34-year-old guy, I was used to doing everything myself, and Nadia was a real trooper and came in and really showed me what a true partner can be
Right.
from the get-go. So that was pretty amazing. We bought a house sight unseen, just from the pictures and having friends come by and look on our behalf.
Yeah.
And I remember flying up to do a job in northern Alberta and got off the plane and heard that the offer was accepted.
Right.
And then 2 days later, I was here checking the house out and kind of taking the subjects off the property. And then we were
So you
here.
bought a house unseen, and
Yeah.
so you both picked the house out, though.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
This way, we were kind of. There was a bit of pressure to get it done, and the house ticked all of our boxes. So we just said, let's do it.
So people were renting the house
Mhm.
that we were living. So we were gonna keep on renting it because he hadn't gotten a job yet. So
Right.
we were only gonna move back until he got a job.
Right.
So we told the people, keep on renting it. We might not be moving back for another year or so.
Right.
But then he got a job with CRD right
The
away.
city,
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was like, it's a sign. We're supposed
Yeah,
to
we're
go.
supposed to be here. Yeah.
It all clicked
Yeah.
together within the same month, so
Oh,
that
wow.
was easy.
Yeah, and then I'm like, do I start a business?
Yeah.
And yeah, we're like, let's start a business.
Well, that was a key thing. I think we had talked over kind of where my career was going,
Right.
but Nadia had always been working for others,
Right.
and like I knew right away when I met Nadia that she's the type of person that can work for herself and be
Right.
very successful at it because of just her personal skills and her ability to kind of make people feel welcome and
Mhm.
provide good service.
Yeah,
And she's one of the hardest workers I know, so I knew it was only a matter of time before she could kind of take on that, if she was up to it, which she was,
Yeah.
to take that risk and jump in.
Yeah.
And so this created kind of the perfect moment where
Yeah.
we could
Perfect.
start a new chapter, have a new house. I could start a new job. She could start a business, and just see if it would all work out. And thankfully, knock
It
on wood,
did.
it did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I knew like right away, but he was just like, I didn't know that. And my mom was like, don't you get hurt? Or-
Right.
Yeah, because I remember I was going to see him right when we had first met. It was the December, and I was going to see him at his house. And my mom was, who's this guy you're going to see? You know, guys only want one thing.
Oh, oh, really?
I had just come out of a relationship, so I don't think I was really.
Oh, okay. So you were.
I wasn't.
thinking,
Yeah,
Well, jumped into
Yeah.
another serious relationship.
another
here.
serious thing wasn't really on my radar. And then Nadia, having living in Victoria, I kind of felt a sense of ease off the get-go because I knew it couldn't get serious too quickly because there was some separation just with living in two different cities. So I think I knew about less than a year into that kind of long distance relationship, we spent 5 days in a row together on a road trip
Right.
to go snowboarding in the town where actually we're going to get married. So in Nelson in BC,
Okay. Okay.
in the Kootenays. And we both had friends that were kind of on the way, and we ended up having a 5-day adventure that would turn out to be a great time. And spending those consecutive days together in a car doing road trips,
Right.
and then
Meeting each other's friends.
yeah, and having some kind of risky situations on snowboards together.
Right. And you just. Kind of,
Brought us closer together, and I knew like if the opportunity were to come up where we could live together in the
Right.
same place, I'd like to try that.
Right.
And that we made that happen within probably a year after that
Yeah.
or less.
and then you waited until just last year to pop the question, how did that happen?
Yeah, well, I think I'd had the ring for a lot longer, but
Oh my gosh.
it was I think
I knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
You knew it
I
was
think
going to happen.
we both kind of
Yeah.
were talking about it for a long time. We
Right.
were like, yeah, we definitely marry each other. That year that I think we moved back here in 2016,
Yeah.
I was ready to pop the question.
Right.
But Nadia starting a business, me starting a new job, we were the first time we'd ever owned a house together. We were figuring all that stuff out, and it was like kind of a stressful 6 months just to get re-climatized back to our lives here. And so I wanted to get through that, I think, without popping a question and then putting a wedding on top of all of that kind of mess. And that's probably just my logic brain trying to work
You're an
it over
engineer.
time. So yeah, and then the
Algorithm.
proposal turned out to be just like I had a plan, but then I just threw the plan out the window, and it was New Year's Eve, not last New Year's Eve, but New Year's Eve before. And we were planning, we're going from Vancouver to Nanaimo by ferry. And we had just kind of spent Christmas with the family and everything. And I had the ring.
And I thought it was going to happen when we were at home with my family. So I didn't think it was going to happen. So we were going to Wyoming, and I thought it was going to happen when we went to Jackson Hole in February. So I had no idea. So I thought it was going to happen at home. So now that it hasn't happened at home, I'm like, okay, well now I got to wait till we go on our ski trip in February, which he was going to do it.
So Nadia obviously already had some ideas of that this was coming. But we were on the way to the ferry, and it was a beautiful sunny New Year's Eve day.
Right.
And we had a couple of extra hours to kill, so we ended up going up into Lynn Canyon, parked the car, went up for a walk, and we were on our own. And the light coming through the trees, the river was there. It was beautiful. I was just like, now's the moment. I'll do it now. And she said yes. And then we ended up on the ferry going to see kind of a bunch of other extended family, which was great because we could celebrate New Year's Eve and then share that as a surprise.
We saw 200 dolphins on the ferry.
Yeah, which was kind of a
that's pretty special.
That was a nice sign.
Yeah, there's our sign.
Yeah, it was a nice sign.
Communication. Communication is key.
I would agree with that.
Sure.
Yeah,
for sure. And at the beginning of a relationship, play it cool. Don't get all stressed out and go. Like people are like, oh, why hasn't he called me? Or I have to ask him. Like, where's it going? But it's like, just calm down. What happens will happen.
Yeah. Just believe it.
Just believe in it.
Yeah.
And just relax.
I don't think we tried to label things too early until we were kind of ready, and this is one of the times where that worked.
Right.
But I think if we had tried to define things. Living in two different places and trying to kind of slowly build this relationship really worked for us.
Right.
Whereas, if we had been in the same city in that particular moment, it may not have worked. I don't know. It may have. Because I really wasn't ready to jump into something right away. So I probably would have tried to space myself away.
Yeah.
And we'll argue, because we're two different people, and we argue, and we're both pretty stubborn people too. But I think we both get to a point where if we've had a disagreement, we try, before we go to bed, definitely before we go to bed, we reconcile whatever the difference is, or put it aside.
So you really do follow that don't go to bed angry.
Yeah, we do.
And our relationship, in the relationship book, we're not supposed to take each other for granted.
Right.
That's like our...
The relationship
our
book. Do you want to give her some context on that?
What is the relationship book?
I'll have to bring it over.
Yeah,
you match your partner up with, and it will tell you what your strengths, what your weaknesses are in your relationship. And it'll give you a whole big spiel, and like our week on our days matching for our birthdays is taking each other for granted. And
so it looks at the birth date of both people, and then looks at the astrology, I guess.
It says actually what your best is, and we're best in marriage.
Oh, cool.
And worst in friendship.
All right.
Best in marriage and worst in friendship. And like,
interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, I still think you're my best friend. So.
Yeah, I know. Me too.
There you go.
Oh, there you go.